Later in the day than typical. I had things this morning to do, and I did them. And now I'm here. It's about 5 o'clock. I wasn't going to do anything today, but then I'm like, gosh, the weather. And it's kind of weird. Like, if you don't do weather every day and think about it every day, you kind of lose the flow of the pattern, which I found. Like, so it used to be in the old days in television, if I'd come back, if I had a Saturday and Sunday off, like I typically did, or Friday and Saturday, those 2 days that you miss, because I kind of get out of the weather loop, it kind of throws you off. It's weird. I know. So I was like, okay, if anything, it's like exercising. It's like, just do the push-ups. So these are push-ups. Now, I care too, but it's just more, otherwise I get out of loop. Tomorrow will be painful for me to come back in after a day off and go, I forgot. Because I wouldn't have paid attention to this severe weather in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. I wouldn't have seen the depth and the size of this low as it stands today, which is a huge impact not only on our weather but on this weather as we go out towards the next 3 or 4 days. So this is the big player right now. Okay, so what do we got? We got some heat advisories. We'll look at those. Parts of California, extreme heat warnings. Wind advisories, we've got the heavy rain, the thunderstorms, the severe weather potential in this area, and then more severe weather down here as well. So it's kind of a nasty day across travel. And then this low is going to take us from tomorrow, which will be the hottest day of the week, with Sacramento reaching 100 degrees, probably, just barely. And Redding will hit 101, 102. And then temperatures dump off again real quickly. So it's more of the weather roller coaster, which we've been doing, which, by the way, is pretty awesome because it keeps us out of that super high fire danger. I keep saying the same thing, but this is how I think. Because if it is going to be, if we have a bunch of days of 102, 103 degree temperatures in Livermore and whatever, and there's no fog at the coast, our fuel moistures go down to single digits, and it takes nothing to start a fire, and that's just somebody dragging a chain behind a boat trailer or something. So I like it when it's like this. The winds are not offshore; they're more north-northwest, but it's enough north-northwest that it's just blowing up the inversion. There's a little fog out there, but you can kind of see which way the wind's blowing too. But it's all the way down into San Diego. You're pretty much clear. Huntington Beach. We'll look at a live camera from there later. There's Point Conception. Little fog this morning. Down towards Monterey, you'll see it pop in. I'll do it right there. It is. And then pretty clear everywhere else. So tomorrow night, winds kick up. We're going to see a lot of wind along the coast here and a lot of wind in the kind of towards the Great Basin and up towards Northeast California as the pressure systems change out. They're going to change out. Like, what I mean by that is the big high that's been keeping us pretty warm and not way above average temperatures, but kind of typical for this time. That big high is going to swap out and that low is going to drop in. That low is strong enough that if it was November, December, January, February, March, early April, it would be like a real rain event, a real snow event, and you'll see that in the model. So we look at the profiler. This tells us the depth of the inversion, but first thing, this is time travels this way, right? So this is yesterday, and then this is last night, and then this is right now. So that's how it works. And then the inversion is kind of where the blue line is. That's the top of the fog. Okay. But what you want to notice here is we had a good strong inversion last night, all the way through here. But what's going on here? There's green. That's warmer air under cooler air layered over warmer air, or warmer air layered over cooler air. So you got 3 different temperature strata. That is creating or promoting mixing. And that's where your fog goes. You can't have that. You can't have this warmer air is going to rise, right? Because it's cold air. Warm air is as soon as that gets any push at all, it's going to rise into the air above it, and it's going to cool, and you're going to lose the inversion, and that's what we see. There's still an inversion that wants to happen. It will recoup itself tonight, but that profiler kind of shows clearly what's going on. And tomorrow will be pretty similar. These are the highs from today. Redding got to 98. Tomorrow they'll go to like 90 or 101, 102. Sacramento, 94. Tomorrow, Sacramento goes to 100, maybe. 99, 100. San Francisco, 67. Tomorrow, San Francisco, 67. Los Angeles today, 84. Los Angeles tomorrow, 84. And then San Diego about 79 degrees, and they do the same tomorrow. So nice day. And then these are, well, there's tomorrow. And you can see the big heat. Again, you can see the oranges coming. So tomorrow's going to be the hottest day we've seen in a little while. That's Wednesday. Is it going to be crazy heat? No. The winds are still onshore. There's just not a lot of fog at the coast, and the inversion's kind of compromised. This high pressure down here will continue to generate significant heat again tomorrow. I mean, that'd kill me. That'd kill me down there. That's what we talk about. I talk about the heat all the time, but that you can't hide, man. You can get under an umbrella when it's raining. You can get behind a rock when it's windy, but when it's hot and you don't have access to cooling centers or air conditioning, your pet. I just think about animals all the time, and little kids and old people and unhoused. It's devastating, and you've got millions of people picking up Phoenix. You're picking up Parker, Needles, Thermal, Daggett. I mean, you got a couple good, more than a few million people living in this area. Up towards Vegas, Bucktown. But Vegas, come on, they got nothing but AC. Okay, so let's back this off. So this is what's going on. This is the whole story. Kombucha, right? Because it's 5:30 at night, which is unusual for me. Like I said, normally it's a morning thing where I do my coffee, but kind of a cool thing today. I got a Sprinter van, one of those things that's way overkill, tons of batteries, shower. I just way more stuff than you need, but it's awesome. But anyway, what are they all? Something needed to work on it, but the only place to work on it is way down the peninsula. And I'm like, I'm on this. So I grabbed my bike, right? I drove it down to drop it and grab my bike, and then rode from kind of down by Menlo Park. Just started riding, picked up the Bay Trail, went up into the airport, went into San Francisco, got on the BART train, blah, blah, blah. So I just had like a little adventure day. Because I don't know. I was telling somebody today, the lady that was working on the car, I go, her name was Wanda. I go, I don't really know the peninsula. I know it, but I don't know it. Like, Peninsula's an awesome place. It really is. I mean, you talk about, like, okay, they're quick to the water, quick to the ocean or the bay. They've got great climate. They really do have a good climate. They got some redwood trees. They got a lot of hiking, a lot of biking, all the way down towards Menlo Park. Okay, so here's what I got. Enough. I don't need to sell you on the peninsula because this is the low. Here we are. Here's the low, staying away. But by tomorrow night, it starts to kick in. So tomorrow's the warmest day of the week. This low kicks in. Look at that thing. And it doesn't let go. It's just, oh my gosh, now we're into Saturday. Now we're into Sunday. Is it raining? No, because it's summer. But if it was winter, I think it'd be going off. Be low snow elevations. What it's going to do for us, look at this model. It just keeps throwing stuff at us. Now we're into almost to July. Now we are to July, and it continues into July, almost July 4th. That's almost July 4th. So this general pattern, and I hope you were able to see it. I'll roll it real quick again. I won't go through the days, but you can just find us, and then see that stuff going by, see that low. That thing sticking around, omnipresent, is displacing the big high pressure. This low kind of kicks out, but another low comes right back in. Displaces the Pacific high, which breaks up our typical weather pattern, which breaks up monsoonal flow, which can bring thunderstorms. But it breaks up, and it brings us, as you'll see coming up, it's continuing, brings us to the potential for certainly a below average temperature 6 to 10 days because of where that low sits. Lessened fire danger, better air quality, so on and so forth. So it's an awesome thing, but it's not typical. These are the red flag warnings, watches, heat advisories. Extreme heat warnings are these purple. And then these areas are heat advisories. The extreme heat warnings are upsetting. I mean, that's a lot of heat, you guys. And then here Oklahoma and Nebraska. This is what was going on today. Remember that little low I picked out? So they're having severe thunderstorm watches, warnings, tornado watches, warnings, the whole bit. And then you got all this rain out here. So it's a very, very busy Ohio Valley. What do they got there? That's severe weather right there, right? Let's see. Yeah, National Weather Service, flash flood warning. Yeah, so they're getting just loaded loaded with rain. Flash flood warning. Wow, that's Pennsylvania. That's for today and tonight. And then Alaska, let's see if you can see this, but Alaska's got flood warnings. That's a glacier up there. So these glaciers, as Fairbanks hits temperatures near, I think they're supposed to go 95 degrees, you start to melt the glaciers. And so that's where we are now. So here's the melt area. They're calling that a watch, a flood watch. And then Fairbanks has got extreme heat warning or a red flag warning in Fairbanks. Wow. Yeah, so that's a little weird, isn't it? Okay, so remember what I was talking about, that omnipresent low? Well, look what the model does. This is the climate model for the next few days, but it goes like this. So that's basically the trough, and that's the ridge. There's your heat, there's your cool. And we saw this, we've already knew this because we looked at this. If I'm being too simplistic, let me know. I just think it's so important. Once you make these connections, you go, oh yeah. So you go, well, how did they draw that 6 to 10 day outlook? Oh, they looked at the model, and the model showed this. Now it's going to be below average by a couple of degrees for sure. Okay, yeah, just that easy. And then precipitation near normal for us, and above average down by New Mexico, and above average up or by Wisconsin. Okay. Mount Shasta, Black Butte right here, Cinder Cone, beautiful, awesome. I always feel, I think when if you have that view, if you have that, I had a house once when I lived in Marin County for years, I had an awesome view of Mount Tam and the whole Bolinas Ridge area. You just lay there at night, in the morning, during the day, and you saw it in all its iterations. It was awesome. So I think we're all view people, but it was awesome. Okay, Mount Lassen. Okay, the fire from a few years ago near Lake Almanor. We can see Lake Almanor if I just pivot the camera around. Beautiful lake. They get a little wind up there. But it is a stunning lake. You can see some of the trees burned out by the fire. And that water, I remember I used to go there a lot when I was a little kid. That water is ultra, ultra clear. This is Trussell's, where they're going to have the surf contest. And the swell, a little bit of wind on it now. The swell is about 2 to 4. And it's a funny spot because I was going to mention this the other day, but it's kind of... Okay, I'm going to make fun of the LA guys, or the San Diego guys. But they're in the old days, they'll say, oh, you got to hike in, and you got to take a day's supply of food, and sometimes take a sleeping bag. And it's like, literally, you guys, it's like half a mile. It's a walk. It's called Trussell's because there's an old bike path there. I don't know if it started out as a bike path. It's a bike path now. And you walk down it for about 200 yards, and then another 100 yards down the beach, and you're at Trussell's. But it just shows you how, and not just the LA guys, all of us are like that, where it's like, if you can't park your car right out front of it. So I guess it's just sort of like, it's a big adventure. At least it was back in the day. And it's funny because Nixon at White House West had his estate, or wherever his retreat was, at Cotton's, which is just up the beach. And so this was all closed to surfers in the 60s and early 70s. And if you remember much about Richard Nixon, the surfers and Nixon did not get along. Obviously, politically, Vietnam War, so on and so forth. And so there are so many just fascinating stories and visual images of MPs. Well, let's do it. I'm going to do it. This is crazy talk. Watch this. This is going to get me, okay. Trussell's military. This is probably bad pod too. And we'll go images. And then we'll go, come on, show me somebody getting arrested. No, doggone it. Arrest. Trussell military arrest. Okay, this is awful. You can, if you, no, dang. I've seen so many pictures of, there's the walk down right there. Okay, well, anyway, that's the walk down. And that's the Trussell. But it's funny because but yeah, if you look hard enough, you'll see the MPs, the military police, arresting people. Okay, that was hubris what I just did there. That was like, that was disrespecting your time. Like I'm going to search around, but I wanted it so bad. Steamer Lane, big wind offshore. Looks a lot like yesterday. And tide's a little beefy right now. Swell doesn't do much. It kind of stays the same. The skiers up at Mammoth, they were skiing this morning. Dude, that was all snow the other day, like a week ago. So you can see the snow going pretty fast. There's a chairlift moving there. Yeah, buddy. Check it out. Let's see if anybody's on the hill. God, that is so ratchet. Look at the gondolas. Now, this I wonder if it's not like there's a restaurant up there or something. Because you don't need to run they'll do one more pan, and we'll go over here to the right. And I think it looks like they must be closed. I did see people skiing this morning, though. It's not going to move. Come on. See anybody? No. But you can see the grooves. Look at the grooves they cut into those moguls. Those moguls are armpit deep for sure. Yeah. You can still ski it. All right, and the flow track is all done too. Okay, let's move on. I'm excited about this. This is a place that is near and dear to my heart. It's Northern California. It's just south of Shelter Cove. If you know, you know. I'm not going to talk about it up there because people will, but if you know, you know. And then I think this is a hotel. And just to the left of this, kind of over here, is a really awesome inland cove, or kind of like a inland bay. They have a boat launch there, but there's a couple waves that get in there that are pretty awesome little waves. I haven't been up there in a little while, actually. I'd like to get back up there soon. This is Huntington Beach. Temperature at Huntington Beach today was 69 degrees, almost 70 degrees, right at the water's edge. There is some swell. That is probably the most iconic. Is that? Yeah, I was gonna say Malibu or Huntington, the pier. I think it's Huntington Beach. Big beef with Huntington Beach and Santa Cruz because they're Surf City, but then Santa Cruz is Surf City. Because I guess there is evidence that one of the Hawaiian princes, first time he ever surfed was up in Santa Cruz, I think at Cowell's. And so that's why we claim it. But then these guys claim themselves as Surf City. And for a while there, it was a lot of beef going back and forth between Santa Cruz and Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach just feels Surf City only because it's, Beach Boys LA thing. These are puffins. They go to sea. There's some good shots of them. Sorry. I know I'm sort of obsessed with puffins now. And this bad boy, right? He's awesome. I don't get, here's what I don't, okay, doesn't have a colored beak either. Okay, so I could just Google it, but I'm not going to. But that must be a male or a younger puffin. Or a different bird, but why would you have a decoy? That's the decoy there, because that guy's a full-on decoy. I don't know. They're pretty awesome, though, right? They just look friendly. They look really friendly. Oh. Yeah. Really friendly. I said this the other day, too. They're funny because I don't know how they stay so clean. How do they clean themselves? I guess just being in the, it's because they're in the water. They're in the water 7 months out of the year. They nest up in these rocks so that animals can't get to their one egg because they only produce one egg per couple. But they must be in the ocean so much that they just don't have any issues with getting skanky. And then that's the decoy, and I'll find out what it is. You guys will probably dig it up before I will, but I'll dig something up on it. Because I'm curious why these are all female puffins? Are these two male puffins? Are these baby puffins? Are these female puffins? I don't know. Okay, that didn't go well. You were with me for that. And then this is Trussels just sneaking in and walking down. The baby birds have flown the coop. We miss them, but they are doing well from what I can tell. We'll check back in on them from time to time. So you got the forecast, right? Tomorrow's the warmest day of the week. Temperatures on Thursday depart in a downward direction and stay that way. So we're just kind of a couple of days of warm tomorrow, then drops back down, and then below average temperatures after that, right through the next week to 2 weeks. So fire danger. Shouldn't be talking a lot about fire danger. We shouldn't be talking a lot about air quality stuff. However that fits into your plans. I will see you back here tomorrow. I'll do it in the morning, which is easier for me because I'm drinking coffee. This was sort of an effort. I mean, it was an awesome effort. Thanks for joining me.